Welcome everyone to another tutorial. This is actually my first tutorial, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to solve the first two layers using the Fridrich method F2L. So let's get right into it. The first step, just like the beginner's method, is to get the cross. And now typically with the beginner's method, what you would do is solve each individual corner like this, and then use an algorithm to get this piece over to here. And basically that's really inefficient. So what F2L does is makes you think about this in a different way, where you would get your corner, pair it up with the edge that corresponds to it, see it has the same color, and then put it where it has to go, so both of the pieces are solved at once. So I'm gonna go over the basics and we'll get into some examples. Alright, so we're back at the cross, and we're gonna look at some examples of F2L cases that you'd have to deal with in a typical solve. So when you're scanning the cube after completing the cross, you're just looking for basically a corner that you want to solve. So I'm going to pick this one right here. It is the green, red, and white. So because I have the white on the bottom, the other piece that I'm going to look for is the green and red edge. So if I look, it's back here. So I'd want to set it up so that the red piece is here and it lines up with this red piece out here. That way, when I move this piece, when I move the left side down, then without messing up the cross, I can simply move this edge over so that when I bring this back up, it would pair up with this, and now I can insert them both at the same time. And the way I do that is simply by opening this slot, placing it in, closing it. So let's move to the next one. Here's another case. It's pretty common that you'll get a case where you have the corner and the edge next to each other, but they're not oriented correctly. See, this piece needs to be twisted counterclockwise, and that would make it pair up. So the way you would deal with this is basically to separate them first. So if you just get it so that you're over an empty slot, then you can simply bring this down, separate it by moving that away, and then you can bring this back up. And because this was an empty slot, it wasn't solved before, you're not messing anything up by doing that. So now, this is a really common case where you basically have the corner right here and the edge here, but these colors are flipped. So instead of the green facing up here, you have the orange. So this one's actually really easy, and it only takes 3 moves to get it, pair it up, and put it into the slot, and then close the slot. So you'd basically want to put the corner over where it has to go, and then just as if you were solving a corner like that, you'd basically want to move this over to here, and in doing that you would pair up the corner with the edge. Now you can simply line up the corner with the cross piece that it has to go with, and now just close the slot. So that solves that. And here's the same case again, but now it's on the right side. So basically you would make sure this slot is open, you would move this down, move this away, which would then separate the edge in the corner, and now it's set up again so that the opposite colors are facing up, except instead of being on the left side, like it was for the previous example, now it's on the right side. So basically, you do the same thing. You move this over here as if you were going to just solve the corner. So by moving this down here, you're pairing it up and opening the slot in the same move. And now you can close the slot, and in doing that, match up the corner and the edge with the corresponding cross piece, and then simply close the slot, and that pair is solved. So now we're on to the last one. This is a pretty basic one. So here are the two pieces. So because they're the same color facing up, this piece basically just needs to be moved over here, except this piece has to stay right there. So the way to do this is to make sure that this back slot is open, and just by moving it down, because there's no solved pair right here, you're able to just bring this up, and then you could freely move the top layer around, and you're not messing up any of the cross or the previously done pairs. So now, because this is the same color as this, so if you just move it over, then when you bring this back up, restoring the cross, you are pairing up the corner and the edge. And now, just like as if you were to just solve this corner by opening the slot, putting it in the slot, and then closing it, because they were already paired up, you could just place them in at the same time, just like that. However, what you wouldn't want to do is put it in like this, because in doing that, all you would be doing is solving the corner, and then the edge is separated from it. So you always got to be careful when you're doing F2L that the way that you insert the corner and edge pair, you just want to make sure that it never separates the corner and the edge. Once they're together, you basically just have to put them in as one piece. So sometimes it requires you to rotate the cube like this, then you can move this up and put it in. And yep, so that's basically what F2L is all about. It's a lot more intuitive than the beginner's method, and it's also a lot more efficient once you get used to it. I wouldn't really suggest this to anyone who averages more than about a minute with the beginner's method. It definitely requires you to at least have a good feel for the cube. Basically, as long as you have some prior experience and you're able to solve it pretty fast with the beginner's method, you should be fine learning the F2L. So now you may be wondering, why should I even learn the F2L? I think that the F2L is the most fun way of solving the cube. Once you get to the last layer, you're basically regurgitating a couple algorithms and you just solve the cube. But the F2L, you're actually able to think of how you're actually solving it and use different methods, different ways to insert the pair, whatever you want. And I think it offers a unique way of doing it. If you guys would like to see some more examples, I could make a video showing all of the cases that I know of that you could get in the F2L, and that might be beneficial. So good luck with learning the Fridrich method, and thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.